Welcome. I'm so glad you're joining me. For those of you who are just starting, the Orca Swim Show is a weekly show where I bring both information about how the brain works when embarking on change, especially something that is fearful, and we take it to the lab of the swimming pool. After 30 years of teaching in the pool, it's time to hop out of the water and share how the learning works in and out of the water in the same way. The water is a perfect lab to test the learning process because you get fast and immediate feedback along with very satisfying rewards when you focus on the needs of the brain-body connection and not just a list of skills. Then you can obtain lasting and satisfying results. Our pool is a warm 92. Let's hop in and go from regret and missing out to action and freedom.
Welcome to the introduction of the foundations of change. End regret and start creating your life right now. This is a short introduction to some big concepts. I'm going to just introduce them to you to give you a brief overview so you can see the fullness of where we're going here. So don't expect yourself to get everything right now, but just get an overview of to see, this is how life works. And I want to know more about each of these areas. So let's get started. The best place to start is with you. The foundation always starts with you. You being human, understanding what the human experience is. Now, the human experience is really made up of two things. It's made up of your physical body that's tangible. We can all see it. It lives and exists in real time and space. We can all agree upon, well, there's your body right there. And then there's also the non-physical you that controls your body. Your thoughts, your feelings, your spirit, your soul, this part of you that can live in present time with your physical body, or it can be hanging out in the past or have its head in the clouds. This is the part of you that is grounded or freaking out. It's a part that we can't see, but we know it and we feel it, and this is what it means to be human. Is to have both of these things together, both your physical body and the spirit, the soul, what makes you, you. So this is always where we have to start. From here, we have healing and learning. So the healing side of our foundation of change has to do with your stories and your thoughts and your interpretation of the world. And the learning that comes from you is when you're putting things into action. As a little baby, you're learning how to move that body. At the same time, you're reconciling, why do I have all these needs that are getting met or not getting met? The foundation of change is a repeating process of growth, of understanding what it means to be human in the world, to heal from these things, and to put things into action, and then grounding ourselves back into the human experience. Now, when we are stuck, we are spinning or we are being stopped in one of these places. So it's very common for us to see people say, I just want to learn the tips and tricks. Give me the action steps. If you give me the action steps, then I'll feel great. I'll be happy. I'll make change in my life, right? We get spinning around and thinking all the answers are just in these tips and tricks. Or we see people who live in the realm of their story, that their story of the past is just really coming to play as if it's right now. They're stuck in the past. Or we see people at times We are in the future, our heads in the clouds. We're always in la la land, never actually executing in real-time life. The other place we can be stuck is not really understanding the fullness of what it means to be human, of resisting all the positive and the negative things that go with being human. This desire to always be happy and joyful and never feel sadness or pain. But it's all part of being human. When we come to this foundation of change, this repeating process brings growth of going through these 3 different parts of our triangle in what we call the 3x5 process. Because within each of these different places, there is a depth of understanding. And we have 5 main points to learn about and to grow into as you go into the foundations of change. Let's take a quick look at them. This is the part where it gets meaty, and I'm just going to give you the overview, so don't expect yourself to understand them all at the moment. We always have to start with the grounding of you, which we've talked about at the beginning here, of understanding your physical and your non-physical self. How do we bring these things together to know when you're experiencing life right now? And that takes us up to our healing part, which we've talked about as well, which is the story we have of our body and our non-physical self experience life, and then we tell a story about it. Some of that story is made up of facts, and some of it, maybe most of it, is made up of our interpretation of those facts. Which brings us over to learning. In order to learn, we have to have a presence of mind. We have to know, are we being in the story, or are we being and bringing our physical and non-physical self together? Do we have a presence of mind to be able to understand what's happening right now? And right now, whatever it is that you're learning or doing is going to have a whole spectrum of feelings. Some people say life is 50-50. Half of those feelings are positive and half of those feelings are negative. To understand this helps us grow and know what it means to be human, that it's okay to have these feelings. And this can take us back up into our healing of what do we do with these feelings? Do we allow for them or do we resist them? What happens when we do each of these things? When we get into a place of allowing, we can bring forth our natural curiosity to see what's fun for us. This brings the opening of learning, where we want to dive in and get curious and try things out and allow for whatever feeling there is that comes up in this. Which takes us to this funny acronym here, which this stands for that every time you're in the world as being human, there is a certain circumstance. This is what our C is for. And circumstances are just neutral. If I were to line 5 people up next to the pool, this would just be a neutral thing. There are 5 humans standing there. And each one of those humans would have a thought about standing next to the pool. Some would think this is great. Some would think this was terrible. Whatever their thoughts are, it would create a feeling. The people who think, oh, this is exciting, I get to go swim, they're going to feel, well, excited. People who say, I don't know how to swim, might have a feeling of terror. Your thoughts give you your feelings, and your feelings drive your actions. And your actions will give you your results. This process of understanding how that process works, we can start to use our adult brain to say, is this process actually giving me the results I want in my life? A lot of our thoughts and feelings are left over from a place that are not actually from today and right now. We have lots of thoughts and feelings that come from our childhood, that come from past experiences, and doesn't really give us an opportunity to say, wait a second, is this the powerful thought that I can use today with my adult brain? And your adult brain can let you say, what is the right size step for me to be able to learn? That other reptilian brain or your child brain, your teenage brain might say, I have to do it all, or it's no good if I don't do it like this or like that, or to have fun, it has to be this or that. But to use your adult brain says, wait a second, I can slow down and find the step that feels fun and curious for me, so I can actually get information and learn from what I'm doing. Which brings us back to an awareness of our feelings. To be able to be aware of our feelings is the way that we stop ourselves from flying out of control, from going from feeling nervous to feeling anxious to being paralyzed with fear to total panic. Having an awareness of when we take each step, of how it feels, puts the brakes on and allows us to come back to a neutral space again. Which takes us back up to our healing corner, which says that we have permission to go at the pace that is completely right for us. We have permission to be who we are right now. All of your experiences have brought you to the place that you are right now, and it's great. You're wanting to make a change and a growth, and so you give yourself permission to reconcile and understand and bring healing to all of the feelings that you have when you're in this learning process. Which opens up the learning process only will happen if you are willing to fail, that you have permission to not have to get it perfectly, that you have permission that you can attempt something, and when you make the attempt and when you're doing the right size engagement from curiosity and with a presence of mind, it's okay if you fail, because the failing will be the place where you get the information to be able to learn. And every time you have this failing moment, you can ground yourself back to neutral and just see these things as the way it is. Oh, when I put my face in the water, I didn't know if I inhaled, I'd get water up my nose. Okay, I could tell myself I'm wrong or bad for that, or I can just ground to neutral and say, face in the water, inhale equals water in the nose. Got it. Now I have this permission and I have forgiveness that I didn't know it, but now I do. So when you know more, you do more. And this forgiveness just allows you to say, I got it. It's okay that I didn't know. I now do know. And forgiveness helps bring that grounding to neutral. When we're grounded in neutral, then we can start to pull apart what we really need to know in order to understand how physical actions happen in the world, which is the difference between the sensations of the world. When I touch something, it produces a sensation of my hand, versus the sensations I feel because I've created them with my thoughts. When my hand touches something, I think I'm wrong. I shouldn't have touched it. I should have pulled away sooner than I did. We need to be able to understand what are sensations that are just neutral facts versus things that we've created with our thoughts and our feelings. Whew, that is a lot. The 3x5 foundation of change Going through these steps over and over again is how you start to produce results in your life right now. And when we go through them gently and easily, you expand into your dreams. And this stops you from spinning out, and you actually can move into growth to fully understand what all of these areas mean. We are super excited to get you started, to dive into all of these areas, to learn how they act on your life, how you can understand them, and use them as powerful steps to change your life so you can end regret and you can create anything that you want in the water, with your relationships, with yourself. We'll see you at the next step.
Thanks for listening. Are you ready to take some action? 3 ways to the freeway. Subscribe, join a free webinar, get started online where we break down the steps, making them simple, and we support you along the journey. So maybe you'll join us in Hawaii. Jump on over to orcaswimschool.com.